Hey guys, what's up? It's me. I'm unoriginal and running out of ideas of what to even put on this channel. I think dramatic readings is just like the best thing we could do today. Let's get started. The first story is Ants, A-N-T-S by Chet Williamson. This is gonna be a great time. Ben Pearsall first saw them at the bottom of the drive, where the asphalt had been torn away by the combination of the harsh winter and the big tires of the oil delivery truck. They had a substantial hill in progress, 6 inches across at the center and an inch high. Ants. Ants he didn't need. The moles were bad enough. His lawn already had more soft spots than a week-old melon. So he drew back his foot and kicked, making the dirt fly up in the waist-height arc. Arc? Yes, arc. A-R-C, arc. That got him. They poured from the hole like a thick black thread, running in panic at the
cataclysm.
Cataclysm? I don't know this word. Moving on. That had ripped off the top of their city. Ben chuckled and began to stomp. Just get some ant killer. You didn't have to be this extra, my dude. In a minute of the tiny scurrying motion had ended, though a few survivors still ran for cover and a multitude of wounded writhed in the furrows made by Ben's Vibranium soles. Oh, by Vibram Souls? Is that a company? Vibram. This video is slowly becoming that I can't read out loud, but we're gonna keep going. He turned and walked smiling toward the house, the mail tucked under his arm. That was fun. But not as much fun as when he was a kid. It gets worse! A kid and had dripped candle wax on the ants, one at a time. He has it coming to him. In a few seconds, you could peel off the dried wax off the sidewalk and put a petrified ant in your pocket. Ben used to take a bunch to school, where they made unheralded appearances in the urinal, Miss Donovan's pencil cup, and Shayla Brown's milk. But time had passed. He'd grown up, gotten married, gotten divorced, gotten tired. Small pleasures were all he could afford now. Alimony and child support allowed little else. A case of beer, a week, an occasional movie, a very occasional role with Mindy, the waitress at the Anchor, and whatever else he could find to amuse himself. Like stomping ants. At least, he could have been able to keep the house. Oh wait, JK, wrong sentence, try again. At least he'd been able to keep the house. Inside he opened a bud and flopped on the sofa with a copy of Miss Harriet's 2-year subscription was still going strong. He frowned a little at the article's title and picked up Sports Illustrated instead. Duh. He had barely opened the magazine when his nose started to itch. He looked down its broad length and noticed a small black dot at the point where his vision crossed. Thinking it might be a misplaced period on the page, he wiggled both his eyes in the magazine. But instead of disappearing, the dot took a few tentative steps upward on the oily film that coated Ben's proboscis. An ant! He yelled. Was that dramatic enough? And smashed himself lustily on the nose. Lustily? I've never heard that word in my life. Are we at 7 minutes? Oh, this is gonna be great. Where am I? Oh, there we go. When he exclaimed what stuck to his fingers, he found that it was indeed an ant. Or rather, fresh bits of ant. Head, ant thorax, and ant legs. Yuck, he said, and snapped the debris away. Halfway through his article on football draft choices, his head started to itch, right at the thin patch he called his crown, and Harriet had called his bald spot dead. Whatever the appellation, it itched like a bitch. Love the rhyming. So he scratched madly and came away with something between his nails that was too dark to be dandruff, too dark and too wiggly. Another one? Jesus H. And he crushed the interlooper, flinging its corpse to join its friends in the thick and tangled jungle of 10-year-old shag carpets. Where the hell did he come from? Mused Ben, looking for an answer. When he glanced at the left foot he'd so dapperly propped on the coffee table, he found it. His boot was swarming with little black bodies that were quickly disappearing between pant cuff and sock. Gah! He shouted as hair-like pants pattered over the skin of his calf. Yeah! Onomatopoeias, gotta love them, am I right? He sat up faster than when the detective Harriet had hired surprised him at the Sunrise Motel and started to smack his legs together vigorously. Could have used a different sentence. When the tingling had diminished, he examined over the source of the problem, unlacing the boot and turning it over. The thick depressions of the Vibram soles still sheltered dozens of the little hangers-on. Where was I? Oh, there we go. Ben, now smacking his thighs, ran outside where he smashed the boot against the sidewalk and kept smashing until nothing remained but a nondescript blob of formic acid. Love that. Now that'll show you, little buggers. Wow, he cried as the survivor fastened its appendage to Ben's appendage. Ben danced about frantically, his hand thrust between waistband and belly. Ah, that sucks. Until he finally snagged a little ant and crushed it. Then leaving his boots outside, he went into the house where he immediately shed his clothes and threw them in the washing machine and ran into the bathroom. In the shower, he made the water as hot as he could stand it, rubbed and scrubbed his skin raw with Harriet's old loofah, and dug his fingers into his scalp until it tingled on the edge of pain. Then he rinsed thoroughly, turned off the faucet, and stepped into the mat. There, that was better. No more ants on him now. But as he toweled himself dry, he became aware of a slight itching in his hair. He scratched, and a small ant fell out. Then another, and another. Gasping, he staggered back, his legs bumping against the side of the tub so that he toppled backwards into it. His bare buttocks, I love it how they say buttocks, great use of the English language, striking the porcelain with a loud smack. He still had the towel, and now he saw that it was swarming with ants, dozens and dozens of them, making ever-changing patterns on the blue cloth. Throwing it from him, he stood up in the bath, naked and trembling. They were entering the bedroom by the hundreds, so thick that they seemed like a living mass of tar rolling towards the edge of the bath. Okay. Ben grabbed the faucet handles and wrenched them on, sending hot water streaming over his body, washing down the drain the few ants that had made it into the tub. Several more dropped over the edge and were swept straight into the plumbing. After that, the others stopped, and Ben could read an angry wariness in the multitude of black specks that stood between him and the door. A minute passed while the water roared down and the room filled with steam. Then a single ant started up the wall, and others followed until a blob of darkness 2 feet square moved to the ceiling over and across the room and stopped directly above the cowering form of Ben Pearsall. Ants lay like sheet on the floor, clung overhead to the ceiling, flowed in a wave under the crack of the door. Hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands of ants. I don't know what his issue is. He probably should just call an exterminator. Stop! Ben Pearsall cried, his voice lengthened and curved by his terror and the thunder of the shower. Please stop! I'm sorry. I'll do whatever. Whatever. You know you've lost your mind when you're begging ants as if they can hear you and understand the English language. He collapsed, sobbing in the bottom of the tub, each hot droplet of water stinging him like a tiny mandible. Whatever that is. The ants watched and smiled, a collective smile. Don't know how that works, but love fiction. Later that afternoon, people at the Annis Market started to wonder about Ben Pearsall. They wondered why he looked so pale and nervous. They wondered why he bought 6 cases of pancake syrup. And they wondered, on such a hot summer day, how Ben Pearsall could wear a thick, black, shiny scarf wrapped tightly around his neck and still be shivering. That's a crazy story. And I think that's the end of this video. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more. And thanks guys for sticking with me. See you next time. Bye!